Hello, bonjour, fofo from the Cayenne. My name is James Moss, and I'm an RPCV from Niger, West Africa. I served from 2007 to 2009 in the Dosso region, and I was a health education volunteer. Alongside my work doing health education and disease prevention, I worked very closely with the elementary school in my village. Number one, to increase education enrollment, especially for young girls, but also with sports. During my time there, I was able to start 2 soccer teams, a boys soccer team and a girls soccer team, and I really saw the positive effects that soccer had in the life of these children. During my time in the Peace Corps, I got in touch with Mike Mitchell and Project Play and received a donation of soccer balls, which really helped my goal to educate the children and our school teams. The children on their own got together and worked together to clear a plot of land on the school grounds. They created a field, made the borders out, and originally they were just using 2 rocks to serve as the borders for a goal, until I came up with an idea of making proper soccer goals. Well, I originally came up with this idea to make soccer ropes and eventually nets after watching the men in my village weave small strips of old cloth or clothing to make small ropes to tie their animals up in their compounds. After seeing the amount of bags that were littered around my village and around the marketplace, plastic bags everywhere, I decided why not combine the idea and use plastic bags to then make rope, which then could be used to make soccer nets. With the help of the school children, we collected quite a few plastic bags, and we were able to make enough ropes to make 2 proper goals, which really completed the field and made it look like a proper pitch. The goalie could stand there and defend his goal, and I think that it really motivated the children. Every day after school, their reward was to be able to go out on the soccer pitch and play a match of soccer. Today what I'm going to do is give you a quick tutorial of how to weave together a plastic bag rope, and then how you would use that to make a soccer net. So the materials are very simple. You're just going to need a pair of scissors and plastic bags. Now it doesn't matter if the size or the quality or the color of the plastic bag. Here I have a couple of examples. This is just a regular grocery bag. Here's some type of bag that you might find at a clothing store. I have a produce bag, so it really doesn't matter. If the bag has a hole in it, we normally say it's useless, but not for this project. It doesn't matter the state that the bag's in. Of course, we want it to be more or less clean to work with. So once you have your bags, you are going to take the bag that you want to use to begin with and flatten it out, just like you see here. Once your bag is flattened out, you are going to want to cut along the seam of the bag. Cut right along both seams. You'll open it up just like this. Because the bag's long, you're going to want to go ahead and cut the bag in half. So you'll have two pieces more or less like this. So your next step is going to make strips. You're going to cut strips. So they need to be 2 or 3 inches, 5 to 7 centimeters wide. You're just going to cut the length of the bag. You're going to cut yourself a strip. So in the end, you get a strip more or less like this. Mine isn't pretty, as you can see, but it really doesn't matter. As long as they're about this wide, it doesn't matter how pretty or straight they are. Once you're done, you should have a variety of strips. Like I said, it doesn't matter the length, it doesn't matter the color, as long as they're more or less the same. Alright, to get your rope started, you're just going to start with 2 strips. You're going to take and make an X out of the strips, and then tie a simple knot around one strip over the other, so you end up with an X, more or less. Like I said, nothing needs to be super pretty or precise. Your next step is going to be to begin the actual weave, if that's what you want to call it. So you're going to choose one of the 4 that's going to be what I call the weaving strand. And that's going to be this one for me. So then I'm going to take the rest of them and put them inside the weaving strand and begin to twist my weaving strand around the other. After every 2 or 3 rotations, you're going to want to incorporate a new strand into your weave. So I'm going to take it just like this, pinch it right inside the weaving strand, and twist the strand around it so that it is stuck in there. Twist around a couple of times, and it will be time to add another strand. And I'm just simply twisting the weaving strand around the other. So next I'm going to show you what you're going to do when you run out of your weaving strand. This one is nearly finished. When you have 2 or 3 inches, 5 or 7 centimeters left, you're going to want to change the weaving strand. So what you're going to do is take another strand, pinch it in just like you would normally do, twist the weaving string around a couple of times, and then your new weaving strand you are going to twist around one additional time, and it will now become your weaving strand, and you will continue to twist it around the others. So here's an example of a rope that is nearly finished. When you get to the end, you are just going to twist it around until all of the strands are at the end, and then you'll make a simple knot and leave the excess or simply cut it off. Okay? You're just going to need to twist until you get to, or add strands until you get to the desired length of rope. And you'd be very surprised just how strong this rope is. So, here I have an example of more or less soccer goal. Very small one, and I just used what I had around. In my village, the children pulled together some sticks or some small branches, dug holes in the ground, and set their posts up that way. Here I just have a couple pieces of bamboo and a broomstick. It'll do just fine. As you can see, I have 3 strands that are already set up and tied. I just made them a little bit longer and just tied a couple simple knots to keep them in place. Once you have these strands in place, whether it's horizontally or vertically, you'll be ready to weave in your other strands. So like I said, you're going to want it every 10 centimeters or 3 inches or so all the way up. Once you have that done, it'll be ready to put the strands in the other way. So once again, it's a very simple process. You are just going to simply start with the bottom or start from the top. You'll tie a knot, a simple knot, pull it tight, and you'll have this to start with. Your next step is just going to be to go to the next strand, go around it once, and then continue upwards, go around it once, and continue upwards. And you'll do that throughout the course of the neck, adjusting as necessary until you get to the top, and of course you would tie it on top. Now if this were really stuck into the ground, the strands would be much tighter and it would look much prettier, but I think you get the idea. It's a very simple project. You need a pair of scissors and recycled bags. I think this is a great project. Not only are you recycling, you are creating something with a team. You're motivating children. The impact that this project had is very inspiring. The children, to see their faces when they're out playing on their homemade soccer field with their homemade nets, it's just incredible. It's recycling and it's giving something back. I really hope you enjoyed this quick clip. Now you're ready to make your own ropes and make your own nets. Thank you very much. Fofo, agasabu. Merci beaucoup.